Fellow tennis nerds, I hope you are well. I'm here with Henrik, and you know what time it is. It's time to talk about new gear. And we have so much to talk about today. We have Muse, we have Squared, we have new shoes, ASIC Speed FF, and we have lots of other things. So if you're a gear nerd, you will enjoy this one for sure. I always ask the guest first, how are you, Henrik, today?
I'm very good. I just had a cinnamon bun and I feel very happy because the sun is finally shining here in Sweden. So, cinnamon bun and the sun, it could not be any better than that.
No. And did you play tennis today? That is the number one question.
I did not play tennis. We had an event with my work today where I had to be barbecue maestro and do some barbecuing. So, unfortunately, no time for tennis today. Maybe this weekend I hope to play at least 2 times. I will get some new rackets to play with tomorrow as well. So, I will definitely try to practice this weekend.
It's been an intense period for us in the review space because there's so many products coming out right now, and especially this spring, right? So tennis is obviously going full swing into clay court season with a lot of pros, lots of testing. There will be more releases as well coming later in the year. Many exciting rackets. Is there anything that has stood out to you so far? And well, before we start getting into each and every shoe and each and every racket.
Yes, two products from Wilson and one from Luxilon, and a shoe from Head and A6. So a lot of things has been really positive. The most positive thing is the Wilson Blade Pro 100. The when we did the review 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, about the Steam and that Wilson should bring it back, we talked also about the Steam 100, and now
Yes.
it's finally been it's back again, and it will be called the Blade 100 Pro with the Steam mold. Feels wonderful. I played quite a lot with it. I had to send it back because they only had one sample, but I played a lot with it, and I already have ordered two of those rackets, and that's the racket I will get this weekend. So I played really, really well with that racket. So it will be interesting to try it in the long term. And also a new
Yeah,
string
it's
from Luxilon that really, really stood out. I'm not so enthusiastic about trying strings, but this one was really something extra. So it was a really positive experience.
Yeah, strings can be tough to test sometimes. It's not as exciting as testing a new racket. And but sometimes the string is so good that it's kind of enjoyable in itself. You can put it in any racket and it's kind of give you kind of a good response. So sometimes they're so racket sensitive. I mean, there's rackets that are string sensitive. There are strings that are racket sensitive, and it's kind of tough to pair it. But this one does sound like a good one. I have not yet tried it, but I hope to get some samples to try, of course. I have not tried the Blade Pro, so I think we should maybe start with the new blades. They are coming in, let's say, 6 days. We're allowed from Wilson, as the media embargoes tell us to do the review. I have recorded a bunch of materials. I've played a lot with the Blade 98, 1820, 1619, and the Blade 100. I played a bit as well, the least with that one. And did you try the other blades, or was it mainly the Blade Pro you've been testing?
I tried the Blade Pro 100, and because I liked it so much and had it for a very short period, I played with it a lot more than the 98 1619 and 98 1820. But I did try those. I had the same string setup in all three. Luxilon ALU power 125, 21 kilos with 10% pre-stretch, because I like to pre-stretch the ALU power so they keep tension maintenance a little bit better. So I tried it the same in all. The Blade 100 for me is the 100 Pro is for me the absolute best, most effective, easiest to use. The Blade 98, both string versions, they are, if you compare to the generation 8 and 9, this version it gives maybe a little bit more power. I think the frame is 1 millimeter thicker, actually. So maybe a little bit more solid, but still a pretty demanding racket. It's a racket for, I would say the 98 is for like pro players or like really, really good amateur players. If you are not like a top, let's say you are 5.5 in the rating and above, then you should use maybe a 98. But below that, with our level, for example, I would say the 100 or the 100 Pro is much better for us. Because the 98 is very demanding still. It's a good control frame, very good feel. The 98 1619 has of course more spin, and the 1820 more control. But the sweet spot is still on both frames pretty small, and not so forgiving. So it's racket for really, really good players, I would say.
Do you think like time is slowly running away from the controlled 98s unless you are on the ATP tour and slightly below? That's a little bit my stomach feel like that it's so demanding and difficult these days with the balls, with the courts, with like how tennis has evolved as a game, and now that you have these even more powerful 98 square inch rackets like ISO 98 or Aero 98 that's just gives you a bit more on the ball, a little bigger sweet spot, so it's a bit easier to use them. And then you need such a good game to really be difficult to play against with these kind of control frames like the Blades or the Radical or the Percept rackets, for example.
Yeah, I would say the old 98 control, or the current 98 control frames, if the balls were to be faster, like the balls were pre-corona, if the balls don't wear out so fast. But I mean, these days you can use a can of balls for 20 minutes and they are like fluffy and extremely slow. And a 98 control frame for us amateur players, it simply doesn't make any sense, because the balls are much worse now these days, and much, in my opinion, is slower than they were in the past. You get good enough control with the powerful 98 frame with the modern balls and the pretty slow hard court and clay courts. So I think actually, if you are not a pro player, try a more powerful 98 frame or a 100 frame or a 99 frame, because that makes more sense with the type of balls and the type of tennis that's played these days.
Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, Blade is pretty controlled also in the 100. This 100 is a little bit like lively. What I like about the Steam 100 BLX, which I had a pro stock of, like that's slightly longer. It's good to keep that in mind. It's a 27.25. And this is the Blade Pro 100. So it's not the Blade Pro, which is the H22. That's the Blade Pro 98. So now they have two different options for the first time. This is a new model for the retail segment, but it's the same mold as the old Steam 100, but it has a slightly different layup as far as I understood. I haven't tried this frame, but that's what I understood. Same with the Ultra Pro 99, with the Steam that we discussed. But it's like those rackets still have some control, especially the Blade 100 Pro, thanks to 1620 pattern. So it's like a denser pattern in 100 is usually quite a good way to approach also like getting control and power, but not going like a pure drive or anything like that.
That's correct. And the Blade 100 Pro, it's still a pretty stiff racket. I think I measured it to like 69 RA strung or something like that. But it feels very soft. It feels like a 62, 63 RA racket, because it's very well dampened and not really that harsh as the old BLX Steam. So I have played with it, as I said, maybe 10 hours or something like that, and I had absolutely no issues whatsoever in my arms. So it was a really, really pleasant surprise with that kind of stiffness and still very, very good feel and no arm issues whatsoever, even if I had the stiff all ALU power string in it.
Yeah, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. I must say that the Blades, in my opinion, if we talk about the 98s as well, I think that they have refined the feel so it's not as dampened, maybe as muted as the V9. The V9 was kind of muted. It was not a bad racket, but it was a little bit dampened. And I feel like they are a bit more connected. But I agree with you in terms of saying that for me personally, a 98 control racket is too much to use to be effective, especially when I play better players. And I can generate much more of a heavy ball if I play with like an Aero or a E-Zone or even like an Ultra Pro 99, although that is a little bit of a rocket launcher. So I think I think Wilson should try to maybe release the Learner TN mode, like the Ultra 98, but like a normal 98, not the Ultra Tour 98 with a longer frame, just like a standard length 98 power racket, right? That would be interesting, and they have the P98 and the P100 coming later in the year, which will be interesting to see how that they will do. I've tried both, and I do like them. So I think the Blade is gonna have a strong audience, but I would ask myself, am I the player to use it? You know, if unless like I'm, you know, playing futures and that's what I've always used, I can understand that's you should use it then.
Yeah. So I think a lot of players overestimate themselves with their type of tennis. I love the design. When I first saw it on pictures, I was like, I wonder how it will look like for in real life, but it's beautiful when you hold it in your hands. And they are glossy as well, and they look really exclusive. I love the glossy feel, the glossy design of it. So yeah, I thought that the V9 was a really good paint job, but this one is even better, I must say. It looks fantastic live.
Yeah, I was surprised by the reactions on my post, and I did like a reel just with the cosmetic because that's what you're allowed to do for us as of yet. But and most reactions seem to be like, ah, you know, what is this? I like the. I mean, most tennis nerds are kind of negative at usually, right? But I was surprised. I thought that it came through on video that this actually looks really, really nice, and it's kind of a unique green, and it works even with the red accent here. You know, it's kind of like a really stunning racket in the sun and so on, and it's a nice transition from V8 to V9 to V10. I think Wilson have done a great job. So I was a bit surprised to see that people were shying away from these in the comments, because the video should give you enough of an idea of how it looks like, even though it's never easy to see it 100%. You know.
No, it's a different ball game when you see it live, so you cannot compare it with photos. It's when you hold it in your hand, then you really see how it shines. So it's 10 out of 10 for me for the paint job. I really love it.
Yeah, it's good. I like it too, and I like that the trend now. If you look at Yonex with the V core, you look at this one. We'll get to Nordicdots as well. They always do glossy later on, but that it's like coming back a bit more of the gloss, you know, because I think, I mean, also head with the Legend cosmetics are good. Like I don't like the head matte cosmetics so much. Sometimes they look great, but like you know, it sometimes I feel like the gloss would make more sense. But maybe if you have a very uh, active, explosive colorway like orange or lime or purple, maybe yeah, matte is the better option.
For example, the 2024 paint job of the Speed, for example, I
Yeah.
really did not like the like velvet type of paint,
No, that was
and
a disaster.
yeah, I really don't like it. And for example, this Pro Stock frame, it's glossy, and it just feels so different in when you're holding it. It's the same mold, but just with this gloss, it's fantastic to hold onto. And when you are like playing and you're holding the racket, it feels much better to have a gloss paint job. That's my opinion, and gloss is the way, at least for me.
I agree 100%. I feel like the sensation, like when you're holding it in the throat, like if you know gonna hit a return or one-handed backhand or so, like that sensation of your fingers on the material and even just looking at the racket. These things are important to tennis players, as they are for most sports. Like if you're a golf, you know, if you're into golf, you will probably like a putter that looks a certain way. I don't play golf that much, but I think it's we have like an audiovisual component to our gear, right? And the sound of the racket, the looks of the racket, the feel of the racket, like also in your hands. And I feel like the glossy rackets, it's something a little bit more premium and luxury feel with those. And I definitely, if you compare a matte retail to a pro stock gloss, like it's just a different ball game, I think. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, more gloss to the
Getting
people.
into yeah. Anything else that stood out with the new blades? Are you just say Blade Pro 100? That's your gem of the bunch. I have not yet tried that one. I think I will like it. We did ask them to bring back the Steams. I don't know if they listened, but at least they're both back now. So we can just, you know, think about that. That we'd had some good input. Maybe not. But that's nice to see. Ultra Pro 99, Blade Pro 100. And this one is probably like the gem of the bunch, as we thought with the Ultra. That's your feeling, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's correct.
Old molds are gold, right? That's what we're learning. Sometimes they make really good molds, but then they can upgrade the layup and make
Yeah.
it even better.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's Henrik's verdict on the blades. We have more rackets coming up. We have this one. Let's go straight to the square D pants here. Yeah, you have, of course. You have had it a long time. You have the prototype even. Oh, this is black thing. This is the grayish, like this matte cosmetic with the gloss. This got a dual tube here. It looks nice. It's very similar to the cosmetic of the Yonex Muse, which we will also talk about. But I wonder if they were discussing this head and Yonex, like if we're gonna do a Clash copy, should we make it silver? Because it's like I'm not saying it's a Clash copy, but I think it's in that category of rackets, right? But let me know what was your first thoughts about the. Oh, that's the Muse as well. I don't have that. I have held it though, and it does feel like really cool in the hand. What was your first impressions like going out with the head squared? You've had this for a while.
The balance it's extremely headlight, so I don't have any customization. You see here, it's like 30.5 centimeters balance or something. A little bit thicker frame. I think it's maybe 24-ish or something. And around, is it 295 or 300 unstrung?
295, I think.
295, yes. So, I mean, a 30 centimeter balance with 295 static weight. The swing weight is, I think, just around 300 strung. So it's very, very, very fast to swing. It's very easy to play with. So the first baseline strokes was like, wow, the feel and the sound is fantastic from this racket. You get good spin, it's very, very easy to play with, and it's a very fun racket. The downsides when you play against really good heavy hitters, competitive players, is that when you are out in the corners, this part here from 3 round 12 to 9, it's very, very flexible. It's very, very soft, and it's no mass up here. So it feels almost like not a wooden racket, but when you're out in the corners on the stretch and hit against a heavy ball here, you have absolutely no mass whatsoever to hit the ball back. So this is a racket for beginners can use it as well, but players that play 1 or 2 times a week and not hitting against heavy hard balls and just want something easy to use, like this would be like a perfect coach's racket, for example. It's very good for players playing a lot of doubles that want to rush to the net, and you see the balance is really headlight. Very easy to use, very good spin. You see it's an open 16-18 string pattern, so it's very open, big holes in here, and they have expanded the strings out in the corners as well, so it's more like a 14-16 string pattern, I would say, with such open string pattern. So it's very fun to use, very easy to use, not effective if you are playing competitive tennis, like high-level competitive tennis, because you don't have any really mass on the ball. It would be very interesting to customize this racket up to maybe 320 swing weight to see if you can generate a heavier ball, like penetrating shots against your opponents, because now when you're hitting, it feels very good, but you notice that the opponent gets easy shots from you. They have like no real mass on the ball when they are hitting it. So, and also it will be interesting to see if I customize it to a heavier swing weight, if it will be counterproductive with the construction of this racket, to see if then maybe it will not be so fast to swing, and then it will maybe not play that well at all. So time will tell, but for a beginner or lower level players and doubles players that rush to the net, it's a really good racket to use fast. It's easy to hit the balls with, to come right to the shots if you're just hitting from the baseline to each other. So Very interesting, not for top level competitive players, but a really nice feel. It's a wow feel, like the same like when you tried the Clash the first time. It's a bit of that feel as well.
Would you say like when we played the Clash? I remember when you and I started testing the Clash Tour, it was called back then, the 310 gram version, and it was 2017. No, earlier, 15 maybe. I don't remember exactly. It was a while ago, 2019 even. No, anyway, it was a while ago. Time moves so fast. Like I'm old. Yeah, that's the conclusion. When we tried that, there was like a wow sensation, and then obviously it had that massive flex, like the really low stiffness. This stiffness is even lower, or is it about the same? By the way, is it like 55 strong, or is it?
I have sent it to you. Maybe you can edit it in the video.
Yeah, I would.
But I think it was sub 60 at least,
Yeah, sub 60
or
for sure. I think the
around 58 or something like that. The
yeah.
Muse that we will talk about later, I think that was like 52 strong or something like
Yeah,
that.
that was what I was thinking about. Like that, the
Yeah,
Muse was really low.
yeah.
So that's interesting. But do you feel like this spec is obviously for like fast swing, easy tennis? I had Max Bauer from Head on the podcast to talk about like that they wanted to mimic a shorter racket, like just bring back the fun for players who are lower level, intermediate, beginner, that category, to make tennis just easier, which I think is important because tennis is one of the most difficult sports in the world, you would argue, and it's nice to have a racket that you don't have like five different models. It's only the one squared. You just okay. I'm a beginner. What should I buy? I buy the squared, and then I keep playing until I improve enough, maybe to buy something better. Do you feel like the Clash was more like, okay, I compete with this, while this is like a training racket? Is that something, if you compare like the Clash, heavier Clash, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the Clash Tour, the Clash Pro as well. You could use in competition. That was like a performance ready racket. This one is not. This is for more beginners, low level, fun, recreational Sunday doubles matches. No offense against anyone's level, but I think this is better for lower level tennis, fun tennis.
Yeah,
People that go out
that
and play
makes
once
sense.
a week or something.
Yeah, and it's good that I like when the tennis companies are direct and honest. Like, so I think it's good to say, hey, this racket is for you who do this, and it's not for you who do this. Because sometimes I feel like they want to make like every racket like, oh, you can play on say ATP Pro, and then you can play as a beginner, and you can play with anything. And it's like it's sometimes very confusing for people that are especially new to tennis, but also maybe not so knowledgeable about tennis rackets and gear. Which weight should I get? Should I get the Tour or the Pro or the MP or the MP Lite or the Team or the, it's like all these models, and it's kind of difficult to know. And here it's only one model, and it's for lower level intermediates, and that's such an easy way to communicate, towards tennis players. I think that is kind of refreshing in a way, and I hope we see more of that, because it's very confusing to choose a tennis racket for any level today, really.
Yeah, good beginner's racket. A very interesting take from Head. So thumbs up for the level this is intended for.
So I think it's only logical to go to the other racket in this category, which I know very little about. Partly, Yonex, they have not maybe been super on the ball with communication. Maybe I missed something, or maybe they don't don't really think they should communicate so much with me. But this racket just came out of left field. I saw it at Indian Wells, and I heard about it slightly like a few days before. And it's the Yonex Muse, and it looks very, very nice. The throat is interesting design, because it looks like some AI made a throat of a tennis racket when AI was in its inception. Right now, AI is pretty advanced, but so taking this out on the court and comparing it maybe to squared later on, like what was your first impressions of the Yonex Muse?
A very well dampened racket. Very muted, like very, very muted. I would not say disconnected from the ball, but well, almost. Absolutely no vibrations. Butter smooth, like 52 RA strung, like really, really
Yeah,
soft. Pretty low swing weight as well. I have sent it to you as well.
yeah,
Don't
yeah. We'll
remember
put
it, but
everything on the screen.
yeah. and it has servo filter and VDM tech. So I mean, those are like vibration dampers here, I think. So also very interesting up here because it's very, very soft. You really notice that it's a soft racket. And this is also a very easy racket to use. You see here interesting, almost like O-port holes, almost here and down here. So it's also a very easy racket to use. This is the 100 version. They have a 98 version as well with really thin beam. Down here, it's really thin as well. I have only tried this 100 version. 100 square inch, 295 grams unstrung, 320 balance, 16 by 18 as well. But as you see here, the strings are more tight than on the squared. So for example, the square has its bottom string here, and on the Yonex it's here. So this is almost like a 16-19 because you could easily have a 19th string here as well. Easy to use as well. Not that much. I think it would be easier to play competitive with this racket than with the squared because this is a little bit more, you get a little bit more solid feel from this racket, but it's also very, very soft. So you can really, when you are playing, you really feel how it flexes. So I think it's very good for sensitive elbows and players that just want to experience something like good. Like easy power, easy spin, comfortable spin, pretty big sweet spot. Yeah, it's an interesting racket, but as I said, very, very soft. So interesting from Yonex.
Yeah, I'm curious to try that one, and it's clear that I think it took them a while, maybe too long, in my opinion, to come up with these kind of super arm friendly uh, rackets. Because I mean, Clash they had such a huge success with that one. Not sure if it's selling as much today. I would maybe guess not. I don't see as many Clash V3 as I have saw like V1, which was like everywhere, really. Thanks to that like great launch, and it was also a pretty novel idea. It will be interesting to see both Head Squared and Yonex Muse how they do, but it's good that they have a really flexible, dampened, easy arm alternative, so people
Yeah,
can play tennis even though their arm is hurting or they're worried about it at least, you know.
yeah. I would say I'm normally using a vibration damper, but with this racket, I don't want to use a vibration damper because it's already almost too dampened as it is without any damper.
Yeah, and you tried the 100. There's also a 98, which I found a bit odd because why would they have a 98? But then okay, Clash had a 98 as well, but they removed it later. Um, what would you think? Like, does that make sense to have a Muse 98?
If there is someone that wants to go back the memory lane and play with something that feels like a wood racket, maybe. I don't
RD7.
know. Yeah, something like that. I don't know actually why they make that racket in a 98, but yeah, I don't know actually because it's 98 is a smaller, even if it's only 2 square inches, there is a noticeable difference between 100 and a 98. So a very soft, buttery feel, very well dampened 98 racket. I have a difficult time to see who's the target group for that racket as. I don't know actually.
No, me neither. Maybe it's kind of like more focused on the Asian market. I don't know because that's kind of a different market. They have a slightly different specs, lighter rackets usually. But I found it a little bit surprising, to say the least, to see a Muse 98. But it looks great. Interesting throat. I'm keen to try it if I ever get a sample or a demo. Yeah, good to see. Interesting to try with maybe some. I would love to put these rackets in the hands of some kind of beginner, slightly maybe a bit better than a beginner, and see how they perceive the differences. Because I, with the same string, obviously, but I think it could be interesting test to see like, okay, what do you connect with? Obviously, tennis is personal. We all go for personal options, but it could be an interesting challenge now that we have like Clash, Muse, and Squared all in the same kind of niche. I would be
Yeah.
curious to see if Babolat brings out something similar, because they're not known for being like the company that brings out the softest frames, you know.
No, that would be really interesting. They had like the soft drive back in the days, and that was like
Yeah.
67 RA or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That was as
So
soft as it goes. So that's interesting. Okay, well we have a more player-oriented frame as well. If you've been waiting for that, we had started with the Blade, then we had the Squared and the Muse, and we have a new frame which is really an updated frame, but it's so different from Generation One that it's kind of feels like a new frame. Henrik's holding it. It's the Nordicdots 99, which was their first racket on the market. This is Generation Two though, so G2. Second generation, new mold, new string pattern, new layup. So pretty much a new frame in many ways. And as a young company, you need to obviously try to learn quickly and innovate fast. What was your first impressions playing with generation 2 of the 99, which used to be isometric in head shape and now is kind of more rounded?
yeah, I think just by looking on the hitting surface, it's doesn't it remind me pretty much of the Wilson Shift? I think it looks like a bit like the Shift form on the surface. But I remember when you brought the first generation 99, and it was a prototype from Nordicdots, and that was a really wow feeling. Because it was such a unique feel. It was pro stock and it had pretty much everything. A little bit erratic string pattern though, when you're because of the differences. Because this is much more predictable. It's a normal string pattern.
Yeah, so 1620 pattern, but the pattern is so different that it looks like it's 1619 right now, right?
Yeah, I was actually pretty sure it was 1690. It feels like a 1619 pattern. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty open, so it gives you spin as a 1619. It's not that dense at all because the strings is pretty spaced out here. So it feels like a 1619. It plays like a 1619. It has really good spin, good control though. Pretty good flex. It's flexible. It's glossy, of course, and it feels really good in the hand. I've been using it quite a lot, and you have some footage when I'm hitting with it, and I think I play good with it. It's good spin. It reminds me a little bit of the same characteristics as the Pure Aero 2023 version. I would not say it's wild, but you get good spin, good power, and you have to control the power because it's for a 99-inch racket. It has a lot of power. It's a pretty aggressive racket, and it also moves pretty fast through the air. So it does everything. It doesn't have any real flaws. So don't be scared of the 1620 string pattern because, as I said, I thought it actually was 1619. I had to count it. So it plays like a 1619 with really good. It's a offensive spin baseline racket, so to say, controlled spin baseline racket.
Yeah, I feel like it's a racket where I need to kind of adjust my swing a little bit, similar to the arrow in what it produces. I agree with that. That it's like the launch is pretty high, so I need to maybe hit more down on the ball with my game. I'm saying I like to hit the ball flat and take the ball early. That's kind of my style of playing. And for me, like the 98 Pro and the ISO 98, these types of rackets usually work a bit better for me. Generally, I prefer a bit of a stiffer frame because I feel like the flex and an open pattern might send my shots, talking about my game, right? Send them along. You know, I start to miss a bit more than I think I should. So for me, it was a bit of a tricky transition personally. I think the feel is very good. I think what Nordicdots do really well is that they keep that pro stock feel. Like it's a glossy frame. It has nice flex. It is not like crazy lively. They keep it like a feeling like you got it as a pro stock from Wilson or Head or something.
Yeah.
And I think that is their success story, right? That they can bring that sensation in their frames. They're not the most easy to use. They are quite demanding, but they are also rewarding when you play well, which is what a lot of players like. Like, so if you play well, if you hit the sweet spot, it's a really rewarding racket to play with.
It is. It's not for beginners. It would be really interesting if Nordicdots would make like 100, like not a copy of Pure Drive, but that type of racket. It would be really interesting to see, because they have, as you said, this is a pro stock feel racket. This is like a Wilson H22 or something, or like a head pro stock, because it feels like customized. It feels like the material, the layup is really like high quality, like the carbon fibers is really exclusive, or the production is really good of this racket. And it would be really interesting to try a 100 powerful racket from Nordicdots as well, but they don't have it. But it would be interesting if they one day would make that one, because this is a racket I could play with. I normally play with a lot with the Model 100, and I still have a couple of them in my bag, and almost every practice when I need to get like a good groove when I'm trying new rackets, I first try the Nordicdots, or like warm up with the Nordicdots, because I don't need to think. I just hit the ball with the Nordicdots Model 100 when I have a tight match and don't want to jeopardize it. I use the Nordicdots Model 100 and it feels like home for me. That's my go-to racket, so to say. But this one is also something that I could easily consider to use more and maybe have as a go-to racket, because it's a little bit, I would say, more spin than the Model 100, but maybe not the same control as the Model 100, something like that. But it's a good racket, good for players that hits a lot slice and a lot with spin. So I really like it. It's better for my game than the Generation 1 or the Model 99. It's much more predictable than the first generation of Model 99. And yeah, it's a totally different racket, I would say.
Yeah, overall, I think if I really love the Generation 1, but it was also kind of that feeling of like, this is a new racket. It plays like a pro stock. We don't really get those kind of rackets from most brands, right? And then you have the progressive string pattern that kind of didn't work 100%. You hit a little bit higher in the string bed, it worked great, and then you hit slightly more towards the middle, it could fly a bit. But you really play with that beautiful feel. But this one is just an improvement overall, because you have consistency, a bit more spin potential, but overall, like, the string bed is a lot more like dependable, what you need. So they kept the feel. The feel is still great. Maybe you have a tad more power here. I don't know. At least you get free depth from the launch, so that could be said. Like, I probably, but it's not like it's a huge difference in power level. How would you compare it? Like, you have now 99 Gen 1, Model 100, and the 98S, let's say, because the 98 Pro is very much more controlled, because it's 18, 19, 98, a little bit heavier frame. But the other ones are more like close in weight and specs.
Yeah. The 98 Pro and S, I actually like the 98 Pro more than the S. I played pretty good with that one. High swing weight though, 332 strung or something. So after about 1 hour, I get a little bit more late to the ball, and maybe it doesn't work for me in the long run because I'm too old and too slow. But it's a good racket, good solid control, a good feel, very much pro stock as well, pro stock feel. The 99 first generation, I could not really play consistent with it. This one is really good, really fast. I have not played it outdoors yet, though. It's a big difference because, for example, the Model 100 I really love indoors, but outdoors maybe sometimes I need to go down a lot in the tension to get power and depth with it. It's not so spinny, so it will be really interesting to compare now when we are opening the clay courts any day now. It will be interesting to compare this one outdoors compared to the Model 100. But so far, I like the Model 100 a lot, the most actually, because it feels like home. It's my go-to racket. But this one has good potential, and I will try it more outdoors.
Yeah, I think it's gonna lift the ball a lot more. When I play with it, I notice a nice lift. You can really place it in different angles, and it plays like a modern racket in that sense. I know Adri, who plays with a lot of spins, slices, and topspin, and moves the ball around really well. Coach Adri, he's now with Roman, so but he switched to this racket. I know Tyson, who used to play 200 in the world, used to play blades. Now he's playing with this racket when he's coaching and so on. So definitely appealing to really strong players. You know, if you can control the ball with good spin, I think this is gonna be a very good racket for them. So interesting. Another excellent release. Not my racket per se. I would like a little bit lower launch angle, but that's me. But if you can control the ball with spin and you like a spinny racket, this is definitely a demo, I would say.
Yep. And also, kudos to Nordicdots for their overgrips. I'm very picky about overgrips. I normally only use the Wilson Pro overgrip, but this one is really, like, seriously, really, really good. A little bit thicker than the Wilson, but it lasts extremely long, and it's not that like wet feeling. It's a mix between a wet and dry feeling in some sort, and it's really good durability on this one. So it's really good. The grip is really, really good.
Yeah, there are some pros that they do, which has made me very positive in general. Like that, in the work they do is one of the best things I think about Nordicdots. Like they really passionate about making good rackets and quality products. The clothing I like even more than the rackets even. But it's the quality control. So you get the specs on the box, you get the specs on the plastic on the grip, and if you want another racket of the same specs, you can contact them and you get that. Like I want to buy 3 more of the same specs or with this spec, and this kind of customer service and quality control you don't get, right? Like from other companies. And that's like one of the biggest frustrations in many of our podcasts through the years and reviews and so on, is that obviously you're buying, you get one racket and I get another racket of the same model, but they do have different specs. So it's kind of tough for us sometimes to compare, because you got like a 322 swing weight strung and I got a 335 swing weight strung of the same frame. So it becomes kind of frustrating, right? And here you have a lot more user friendliness in terms of like getting the specs you want.
Yeah, that's really good work. You get a good cover, and I think they also was sending the new TS125 soft string, which every racket as well, I think. So you get like a good package from them. So they are really trying, and so far they are doing a really good job. I mean, it's a new brand, so they are just climbing up the ladders with players.
That's the rackets for today. We're going to get into shoes, but first we have a string that is new from Luxilon coming out, supposed to be paired with the P rackets, as far as I am aware. And you have tried it. I have not tried it yet. I hope to try it. And you've tested a few different sets and a few different rackets. Like it's 125, right?
Yeah, it's it looks like this. It says SP5357 Plus is the working name. Really
I hope
cool.
it's a working name.
Yeah, it's really cool red color. It's difficult to see because I have shit lights here in my storage, but it looks good. And normally when I play Luxilon, the tension is good for about 1 hour. Then the tension drops or the elasticity drops, so it gets too soft and you have to restring. This string I have been playing with for now, I think 4 hours. It's okay. It's starting to be a little bit worn down, but it's very, very crisp. So I was stringing this racket in 21 kilos. It's the old Speed 360 Plus. And it felt very, very crisp, extremely good control. It feels like the control is the control you get from 4G. It has the same control as the 4G, but it's a lot more alive, so to say. The 4G is pretty
spin friendly.
Yeah, it's I really love it. It's good power, good control, good spin, very good feel, good crisp feel, very good sound. So this is actually by far the best string I have tried. I've not been a huge fan of Luxilon strings in the past, actually. They are good, but I mean, I think the tension has dropped too much, but this one is really, really good, and it's keeping the tension extremely good. So this is easily a string, if it's not like super duper expensive when it comes out, but this is a string I think I will actually start to use as a main string when it comes out. So it's that good, and so far it's been all praise. It will be very interesting to see when you are trying it, but this is, I don't know even if it's a prototype string, if they are doing some tweaks to it. I have no information whatsoever about it. But so far, super string from Luxilon. Super, super. The best they have done by far.
That's big words. I'm keen
Yeah.
to try it now. I like all the power, but like you said, it's a tension thing. Usually 4G is a bit stiff, so you need to hybrid it with a gut or something soft. So definitely excited about that one. Is it shaped like, is it six-sided?
Yeah, it's, let me see where I have it. Here you have the profile.
Yeah, yeah. Ah, yes, six-sided. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great. No, they
So,
needed more spin-oriented string. Like if you're looking at the guys on tour, right? Like 4G is still going strong. We even have guys that are not Wilson players playing their string like 4G, like Rublev for example now. But the 4G is a pretty dead string. Like it's dead. It's not gonna give you a lot of launch. If you're Alex Deminor, you put 4G and gut, but he hits through the court, takes the ball super early, like all the time with kind of flat strokes. So uh, to get like a little spin, it's not gonna, or bite on the ball, it's not gonna be the number one string. So I think they need like a shaped string that actually competes, and it's high time to bring one out. So this is gonna be a fun play test. I test a lot
yeah,
of strings, as you know, so
yeah.
this will be fun.
I don't, as I said, I don't really like to test strings. I'm very happy with the Solinco Torbite that I'm having, and I want to have it as like a reference when I'm trying different rackets to have that string, so I know that the rackets feels the same with the same. The rackets is not affected by the string, so to say.
Yeah.
But this one was really fun to try, and I think a lot of players will actually switch to this string if they are keeping it as this version is, because it's, as I said, a fresh set of ALU power. The first hour, it's really good, but it doesn't keep that feel that long because it's losing tension and elasticity. But this one has really been good now for 4.5 hours. So I think this one will be the real deal for Luxilon. This could be a potential bestseller for them, I think.
Yeah, that's exciting. Exciting for them. I did meet them briefly in India Wells. Did not hear anything about the string, but I have seen like Humbert tried it in the NIM UTS event. I've heard about it from Wilson players that I know, and it seems like an exciting one. So we have no more information really at the moment. We don't know when it's going to be launched or in which stage of prototyping it is, but I think it's close to something because from what I heard, it's going to be launched together with the P rackets when they are out in July. So I think you have to wait until summer, but then probably there will be lots of strings to test. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Henrik. All right. So now we have loads of shoes. We have 5 pairs of shoes to discuss, 5 different types of shoes, models of shoes. And we can keep within the Wilson family. Luxilon and Wilson, they are separate companies, but they have a partnership and they usually work together really closely. As you can see, many Wilson players use Luxilon strings. But we will start. We have Rush Pro from Wilson and Rush Tour. I don't know which one is the more budgety model. Is that Tour? That is a bit more of
No,
a budget.
the Rush. This is the Rush Pro, and this is the. This was the top version. This was their number one shoe, the most expensive shoe, and I think this is still. This is as good as the old version of the Rush Pro, so to say. But they have. I have not actually tried this one yet, because you see the thread, the pattern here. It's the all court version. It's not those straight lines anymore. But this will be very, very good on the soft Swedish clay. It's not a clay sole, but you see, it's not. It's pretty shallow, so it will be perfect for me and not get stuck. So this one I will try out on the clay. So I have not tried it yet, but yeah, it will be interesting. So we have to get back to this, the Rush Pro, but I have tried the Rush Tour, this one, and I have been trying it a lot. As you see, I'm starting to wear it a bit, but it's a lot of technical stuff here. It's really like a carbon plate here, and it's very solid, very well dampened, a really luxurious shoe, like really top of the line.
Looks
And
nice.
this is, yeah, it's really good. It's very supportive. It has something called speed carbon here. So, and I saw it the first time when we were down in the Davis Cup tie against the Czech Republic in Jihlava. It was Lehečka used this shoe then in end of January. So it looks really good, and this is a top shoe. Really solid, really good. Yeah, one of the better shoes I have tried for a long time, actually. It's a lot of praise to Wilson now, but they have made good products this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think the learning we have and we have had the last few years is that rackets and strings and shoes are just getting more and more competitive and better overall. So the quality is improving. The only thing that's really been going the other way is the balls. Like the rest of the products, I would say, are becoming easier to use, just better overall, as they should. The product should evolve according to how we evolve as tennis players as a sport. But overall, it's kind of tough to find bad products. Like you have to find, as a reviewer, you need to start thinking more in terms of like what's pros and cons and who is this for. It's more like who is this for, unless you can try it yourself and you try to illustrate who this could suit as a player, you know. But what would you say about the shoe as such? Is it like if you're a speedy mover, or is it more if you're like a guy needing a lot of stability? What would be your main like recommendation there for this Rush Pro Tour?
The Rush Tour, I'm a heavy guy, and it works well for me. It's very good, solid dampening, stability. It's not, I would say, like compared to maybe a Gel Resolution or something like that. In
Okay.
feel, it's or maybe it's a little bit faster. It does everything. It doesn't have any really flaws, actually. It feels really good.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
So
It looks good. It looks. I like the look. It's like it looks cool.
yeah,
But you know, like in Rush, you're thinking, oh, it's a speed shoe. But then we have the Pro and the Tour, and that kind of like make you confused. You know what it is like? Is it like a very stable shoe? Like in head, we have Revolt, which is like this. We're gonna get to. It's like very stable, solid, a lot of cushioning and everything. And then they have their Sprint, which is like a more speedy shoe, less cushioning, faster, less rubber, so lighter. And then in between is the Endure Pro,
yeah.
right? So sometimes difficult to know exactly what is what.
I would say, for example, I have also been trying this from head, the Revolt 5,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also a very good shoe. But when I'm out on the stretch, out in the corners, it's a little bit more flexible
Okay.
and maybe not made for plus 100 kilo players. So I would say that the Rush is more solid. It's a more solid offering from Wilson. Maybe the Rush is the Revolt is a little bit like softer cushioning than the Rush,
Mm-hmm.
but also a little bit more flexible, especially here in the forefoot. As you see here, this part is a little bit more flexible than this from Wilson, that you really have to like, it doesn't really bend at all. So this is much more solid shoe, but still fast and good feel. So they have done some magic. So a good shoe, really good shoe.
Awesome. Now I want to try that. That sounds like a good one. I think I might have a demo pair coming my way, but I don't know. I never know. 100% sure. So the Rush, check it out if you're into a kind of fast and hard, solid shoe that seems to be good for fast movers, from what I can read and hear from Henrik. We also have the Revolt Pro. Maybe we just run straight into that one. Number 5, fifth generation shoe. Very usually like a sturdy cushioned, comfortable shoe. Used to be my favorite before the Endure, but now I'm more of an Endure fan. If I look at the head shoe family, it's never a big Sprint family guy. But what did you think of this one?
Yeah, it was good as well. Good cushioning. pretty solid. But out when I'm like running full out in the corners, then it's a little bit too flexible here for my body weight. But I mean, there is very few players that are plus 100 kilos. So for you, for example, that's a featherlight player against me compared to me. This one would be really
Thank you.
good. You are fit. This one is really good. I really like the design.
It looks great from here. Yeah, the blue,
Looks
red,
really
white,
good.
it's kind of nice. Yeah.
Here they have some stabilizing material, and as you see here, they have an interesting outsole.
Wow. Okay. Ah, that's interesting. That's always funny when they change all the threads. Like that's like how that affects the movement. And nowadays, when it's hardcore shoes, they always try to like make sure that players that slide a lot on hard courts, because that's where the game is going. The way they're moving, the younger generation, they want to be able to slide on hard courts. I don't try to slide a lot on hard courts, and you probably don't either. So
No, I
I'm not
don't
sure
want to
if
break
it's
my
made for
legs.
sliding.
No, I have never slide in my entire life on hardcourt. I would break my foot like clean cut. But
Yeah, you definitely
this,
need to have a shoe made for it, kind of like it's tough to
yeah,
slide on hard.
I think this one would be pretty rough to slide with. This looks
Yeah.
almost like an omnicourt sole.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it feels good. It's a fast shoe, even if it's a solid shoe, so to say. So also a really good shoe. It doesn't has. I have been playing with this maybe 6, 7 times, and it doesn't show any wear whatsoever. So really good durability. It seems like really good shoe
Where
from Head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you see that the older products are pretty like it's easier when there's something you can bash, but it's kind of tough. So we have discussed the Head and the Wilson. We have the Adidas Barricade. Which number are we up there? Is it 14 now or is it 13? 14, right?
14, I think.
Jesus, it's a
Finally, they
long-standing silo.
yeah. Finally, they have removed like here the long Adidas writing. I don't like it when the name is spelled out. It's much better when they have the three
Yeah, this
stripes.
is cleaner. Like that. Yeah, used to take
Yeah,
up to half of the shoe, right? Yeah.
yeah. I think I have. Maybe I have it somewhere else because this is the wide version.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit wider here. So finally they have made because in the past the Barricade was pretty narrow here, so they were like pushing onto my forefoot.
Mm-hmm.
But now the Barricade has a wide version, so this one feels really good for me. Also very good cushioning, pretty solid shoe. I mean, this is a pro level shoe. It doesn't have any really flaws. Very well built, good materials. Here you have some ventilation, good outsole.
Is it like
And
I mean, the Barricade is always used. You're always known to be more like a heavy shoe. Like it's durable because of like kind of strong rubber and heavy rubber. Is that? I mean, that's still in the DNA. You feel like it's solid, sturdy, but also maybe slightly heavy on the foot compared to some other shoes.
we can measure it actually. I have a scale here, so we can compare it with the Wilson. They are the
Yeah.
same size, US 12, and the Barricade in US 12 is 442 grams.
Okay, I write it down.
And the Wilson Rush Tour is 453.
Okay, there you
So the
go. So
Rush
it's
is heavier.
yeah. That that
And
that
let's,
gives you some information. I mean, it's like a few grams, but it's still like it used to be quite a big difference. Like the Barricades used to be quite heavy, but they
yeah.
made an effort to make them lighter. So now they compete more with
The
them.
head shoe is 472 grams.
There we go. So it's the heaviest one.
Yeah, and we can, when we are measuring, we can also talk about the new light solution speed FF4.
Yes.
And that one is 395.
So that's the fastest shoe, but it's called Speed, so it should be fast,
Yeah.
I guess, right?
So when you're holding like the Revolt 470 grams and this one 395, you really you notice like this one feels feather light compared to this one. But when I have this one I actually thought this one was lighter than, for example, the Barricade and Wilson, because it feels pretty light when you're using it. You are not thinking about the weight at all with this one. But here with this one, 395, you really feel like it's so light. It feels like these Crocs sandals, this
Yeah.
it feels like that one. It's really, really light and really interesting. I think this one would be made for sliding.
Yeah, I guess that's the whole. I mean, speed. It's like out in the corners. We have a few ambassadors. I think Deminor is switching to a full Wilson athlete, so he's not probably with Asics anymore. But we
No.
have Musetti, for example, as a player who's definitely an Asics athlete. There are quite a bunch of them, of course, but
Yeah.
interesting. So this is the fastest shoe. Is it noticeably less stable than the other shoes when you compare
I
them?
would say it's not that I have not been using it so much because it has a little bit too the cushioning is not good enough for me. I'm too heavy simply. So this is for lighter players. It's comfortable to have it on, but when I'm really pushing, it's a little bit thin for me. It's a little bit it's too light for me, to be honest. For you, it would be probably be perfect. And I really love the design. And it's pretty solid here, as you see in the sole. They have plastic, so it's pretty solid, so it doesn't move that much. But it could be a little bit more cushioning for me. And I like, for example, when it comes to Asics, this one is my go-to shoe with Asics. This
The
one,
10?
I really love it.
Oh
Really,
wow,
really
you're like
love
the
it.
only guy in the world who loves this shoe.
Yeah, but I really like that one. So I actually don't know why people don't like this one. I don't see any bad things for me with it. So strange. I like it really, really much.
Okay. Oh, well, that's interesting. Yeah, it's. I don't want to roast Asics, although they never invite me to anything. But and it's a very different shoe, right? So if you're used to like the 9 or even 8s, it will be a very different sensation. But obviously, there will be people who also like it. But it can be a drastic shift in your what you expect from the
Yeah,
gel reds.
yeah.
So that's good. So if you had all these shoes, now you have 5 pairs of shoes, pretty much. Well, you haven't tried the new pros yet. Which one would be your pick? And that's now he's into the wrong sport. We're not allowed to do any hockey promotion here, Henrik. Please.
Okay, sorry. That
Henrik
was a
is also
pro
a
return.
hockey nerd, so if you're a hockey nerd, please shout him out in the comments. He follows his team. He's a diehard fan of ice hockey and also a goalie. So,
Yeah.
but soon
So
you have to focus more on tennis. We need
yeah,
more tennis.
that's why I'm sitting in this direction in my storage now, because I'm starting to play hockey again since a couple of months. So everything is ice hockey in here. I still have, of course, tennis gear, but I have a pile of hockey gear. So that's why I'm sitting in this direction.
Yeah, where gearheads they gear no matter what. The different hobbies. Have to find gear to suit it. So of the shoes, like gun to your head, I'm not gonna put a gun to your head, but like which one is your favorite? Like which one would you play a match with tomorrow? If you could only bring one pair to the World Championships for seniors, which one would you bring?
This one, by far the best shoe. This is the best shoe I have ever tried, actually. So
Oh
it's
wow,
that
okay.
good. Yeah. It's perfect. It's like if I should like design a shoe from the beginning, this is perfect. This is the best shoe I have ever tried, and I like shoes. I try a lot of shoes. As you see behind me here, I have a lot of shoes, and I love to try shoes. I buy a lot of shoes, too many shoes for my own good. But this shoe is really, really, really good. So thumbs up to the team. I think there is a new guy that was on a Wilson meeting when they launched the Clash version 3 in Barcelona in January last year.
Hmm.
And they was talking about that the Rush Tour would be a good shoe, and it has really proven to be good. So I really love this shoe. Really, really thumbs up. So this is also 10 out of 10 for me. I don't know about durability yet, though, because I've only not been using it that much, and you still see some wear here. So I cannot comment too much on durability, but like performance, this shoe is perfect for me.
Awesome. All right. So good episode for Wilson, especially I would say, like with blades, especially Blade Pro 100 for you. New blades are good. I think they are an improvement. The 98s did not wow either me or Henrik because we are not players who should be using 98 blades anyway. But Blade Pro 100, I would really like to try. I am sure I would like it because I did love the Steam 100 BLX Pro stocks. So I think they should be up my alley. We did you did also like the Rush Tour, and you also liked the new string from Luxilon. So you're gonna be like a Wilson 360 athlete now. This is full ambassadorship.
Yeah, maybe depends on how much they are cost when I'm going to buy them. So no, I have
Yeah.
I have clothes, so I'm good for a couple of decades. So it will be no Wilson clothing for me.
No, I know you tend to be well stocked in your storage there. Good also for Nordicdots 99. It's an improvement and it's an interesting frame that many advanced players seem to like a lot. A review to come, or you might have already seen it, depending on where we launch this. And interesting to see the Squared and the Muse as more comfort-oriented intermediate rackets. Will be fun to try when I get my hands on them. I can maybe already hit with the Squared tomorrow when I'm talking to you. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff. What happens next for you? I mean, tennis is dead in Sweden now. There's not much tennis. You have to play hockey now.
Yeah, I'm going to play hockey until midsummer or something like that. But I try to play tennis maybe 3 times a week indoors. And now when the clay is opening in, like it's been pretty cold weather here in Sweden. This morning we had -5 and totally covered in frost. So you cannot open the clay courts yet because when it's -5, if you are watering the courts, it will be cracks everywhere. So they are not opening it yet. It has to be like at least around 0 in the night, so maybe 1 to 2 weeks before they opening the clay. But then I will play a lot of tennis. I will play maybe 4 or 5 times a week, but not that many tournaments. I have some league matches coming up. Maybe I will go down to Austria to play some league tennis as well. But not that many tournaments in Sweden anymore, unfortunately. It's either like the men's open and they are too young and too good for me, and the men's 45, there are like 1, 2 tournaments only here in like reasonable distance. I cannot go like 500 kilometers to play a seniors tournament every week. So yeah, it will be a lot of practice, but it's good. Tennis is the best workout. It's so fun and you sweat a lot, and it's just great for the body. So it will be a
100%
lot of
agree.
tennis as well.
Yeah, when summer comes and the warmth comes also to Sweden, I think we will see more tennis players out there. But yeah, in the winter months, it can be a bit of a drag. Yeah, you have to go get out of your house. That's one thing, and then like find an empty tennis court and find someone to play with, which is not always easy either. So, and we're definitely gonna play. We have Swedish Open beckoning this year as well, and maybe some other cool stuff. So, really looking forward to hitting some balls with you again when we catch up in person, and we'll see what racket
Absolutely.
you play then. What match tomorrow? You'll bring the Blade Pro or 100 or something else?
I would absolutely bring the Blade 100 Pro and the Nordicdots Model 100. That's my 2 rackets I think I would have in my bag. So those 2 are the ones I will go with. But I will also try the 99 Gen 2 from Nordicdots, but I have not tried it outdoor yet, so we will see. But for now, Model 100 and Blade 100 Pro.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot, Henrik, for your time. As always, always fun chatting with you. Thanks for all the insights into products that I haven't tried myself. There will be more info to come, more podcasts if you like this stuff. I know you do. And yeah, you will see Henrik again in the reviews, as always.
Thank you guys.
Have a nice day now, and
Don't forget to play some tennis.